Welcome, everyone, to the Strengthening Partnership for Students with Disabilities webinar series. Our session topic is Expanding Access, Specialized Media for Educators and Families. This presentation is brought to us by California Department of Education, Special Education Division, and the Seeds of Partnership Project. Thank you for taking time out of your schedules to join us. Next. As we get started, I want to point out that we have a few language options for this session. American Sign Language will be spotlighted, and translated captions can be accessed by finding the Show Captions icon at the bottom of the Zoom menu and selecting the arrow. This opens up a menu where you select the translation button. If this is turned blue, then it's active. On the menu, choose My Caption Language, where you select the language you'd like the captions to display. For example, this slide shows speaking language is English, and I'm choosing to display Spanish captions. Next. My name's Robin Ryan, and I'm the coordinator of the Seeds of Partnership Project. And with me, supporting in this session, are colleagues from Seeds of Partnership and the California Department of Education. We're excited to bring forward this webinar series. Our goal is to create a space where families and children of young adults with disabilities, educators, and other professionals can come together to learn, connect with effective strategies, resources, and insights to support students with disabilities. We hope that through sharing knowledge and experiences through presentations and spotlights, these sessions will inspire meaningful conversations, foster collaboration, and highlight the voices of parents, students, educators, and others who support to make a difference in the lives of students. Our topics are generated from years of direct input from both families and educators in California. And we look forward to adding areas highlighted by those of you joining us today in these sessions or tuning into a recording and completing the feedback form. We are adding the link to the feedback form in the chat now, and that will be displayed later on in the screen as well toward the end of our session. This session is being recorded, and we will be available on the Seeds website in the e-learning gallery, where you can find previous recordings and registration for upcoming webinars. So for those of you that may not be familiar with Seeds of Partnership, we're a longtime partner and technical assistance project funded by the California Department of Education, Special Education Division, and we are out of the Sacramento County Office of Education. We partner on a variety of initiatives with the Department of Education, provide training, develop resources, and support around all things family engagement, including assistance with compliance improvement monitoring and coordinated support of the Family Empowerment Centers. To learn more, please visit our website at www.seedsofpartnership.org. Next slide. In our session today, Expanding Access, Specialized Media for Educators and Families, we will focus on deepening our understanding of specialized media for students such as large print, braille, and so much more, and how parents and educators in California can access this type of specialized media to support their students. We will learn more about the CDE Clearinghouse for specialized media and technology, what their office does, and how instructional materials move through a process to become available in accessible formats. Broaden the awareness for parents about those materials and the process for access, and then we'll share how educators ultimately access the materials to support students. We will also highlight several resources and considerations on media and access that relate to students that are blind, deafblind, have a visual impairment, that are deaf or hard of hearing. The team from the CDE Clearinghouse will highlight several resources, and we are excited also to have a representative from the California School for the Blind with us to provide an overview of their many resources. We have contributions and resource share also that I will present later in the session that comes in from our colleagues from the Disability Rights Education and Defense Fund, or DREDF, which is one of the parent training and information centers in our state. I'd like to note that some resources and supports that we will touch on today are designed for educators to access. Some are designed for parents, and others are for both parents and educators or anyone to explore. Throughout the session, you will notice several QR codes or links. We will utilize the chat box to drop in all the links to resources that are discussed by the presenters. I'm also excited to share with you that we will make available an accompanying webinar brief document, which includes all the links to resources and websites discussed in this session, which will be available when the recording is posted. Briefs for our previous sessions will also be added in the weeks to come. Next slide. I'll now introduce our California Department of Education Special Education Director, Dr. Rachel Heenan, for some opening remarks. Rachel?
Thanks, Robin. Hello, everyone. Happy summer. And thank you again for this amazing series focusing on critical topics within special education. Kudos to you, Robin, and to all the staff for making these webinar series possible. Again, my name is Rachel Heenan. I'm the Director of the Special Education Division for the California Department of Education. And welcome to all of you to the 5th session of the Strengthening Partnerships for Students with Disabilities webinar series. You being here today during the summer months is a true testament to the commitment that you have to improve outcomes for students with disabilities and to support families throughout this process. Our previous sessions, as you may know, focused on the topics of family engagement in support of student learning and navigating the special education procedural safeguards. Today's webinar, as Robin stated, will focus on expanding access for specialized media for educators and families. So this topic is vital to CDE, and in particular to the Special Education Division, because it connects to our aspirations for what a California education will look like in the 21st century and beyond. But more importantly, this topic directly affects the 4,739 students who are learning within our classrooms and are identified as having a visual impairment. Let me repeat that. Over 4,700 students in California have a documented visual impairment. And this is a population that has a unique need, many unique needs. And that's infant through the transition setting. And it's our responsibility to ensure these students' needs are met in our educational system and beyond. So as a reminder, our Special Education Division's vision is that one day every student in California will flourish in an inclusive and equitable learning environment driven by innovative and personalized supports and services that deliver exceptional educational outcomes essential to a purposeful and fulfilling adulthood. And as part of that vision, it's what we deliver to you in today's webinar. And it'll deepen your understanding of how to access innovative and personalized supports and services for your students. For when we utilize these resources, the action ensures that all students are provided equitable opportunities to not only succeed in the classroom, but are better prepared and equipped to handle the challenges that await them when they leave our educational settings. So along with the vision, our mission in the Special Education Division is what will ultimately make a reality for California students, since it defines our actions, our purpose, and our values. And this mission is that the Special Education Division works in trusted collaboration with educational partners to create inclusive learning environments, provide quality programs and services, and to support data-driven continuous improvement so that students with disabilities are equipped with the knowledge, skills, and opportunities to achieve exceptional outcomes. And I know that's a lot. So you can find this updated mission and vision on our website. Just wanted to put that out there as much as we can. So today we have many partners who are supporting us in this endeavor, and they include, as stated, the CDE's Clearinghouse for Specialized Media and Technology, whose goal is to help close that achievement gap by providing instructional resources in accessible formats to students with disabilities in California. And the California School for the Blind, which was formally established in 1922 and continues to provide a multitude of services to blind and visually impaired children and young adults across the state. So with our vision and mission statements to guide us in collaboration with our educational partners, this webinar will continue to help build stronger, more informed, and more collaborative partnerships between students, families, and educators, and support systems in special education. And as always, I want to take a moment again to thank Robin Ryan from Seeds of Partnership for her tremendous work on this webinar series, in addition to our partners from CSMT, the California School for the Blind, and for my staff in the Special Education Division for their dedication to this ongoing work. Again, an enormous thank you to everyone for taking the time to be here today for this unique opportunity to partner with us and learn. So we thank you for your time and your partnership, and now let's get started.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We can go to the next slide. Just to lay the foundation of our topic area today as we jump in, I want to touch on why this topic. Why specialized media? Why is learning about specialized media? Why does this matter for families and schools? When we're talking about specialized media, we're talking about things like braille, large print, audio, and digital formats, and so much more. These are vital for ensuring equitable access to education for all students, particularly those with visual, auditory, or print access needs. These materials are not merely accommodations, but they're essential to a comprehensive, inclusive learning environment. They support students' academic success, ensure equal access to education and learning materials. Knowing about specialized media assists parents and educators to advocate for students' needs and their rights as student learners. A huge outcome for students is having varied ways to access material. It promotes independence and confidence, and it's not only particularly helpful for the activity being worked on at the time, but think about it in terms of the student's long future ahead. Building that confidence is so important. As you learn about the various resources today, I invite you to think about how one or more could apply to your child or a student that you may know or that you're working with, or maybe there's a colleague or a friend that could benefit from something you learned today. Let's now transition to our next slide. So coming in with us now is Johanna Harder, Education Administrator of the Curriculum Frameworks and Instructional Resources Division at the California Department of Education. She and her team will provide an overview of the Clearinghouse for Specialized Media and Technology Unit and how to access these important resources. Over to you.
Thank you, Robin. I would like to thank the Special Education Division for finding time within this series to allow us to share what we do here in the Clearinghouse for Specialized Media and Technology. And I also want to thank Robin and the team for the wonderful setting us up for today, guiding us on setting up the presentation and what would be most helpful to the group. This is an introduction to how the specialized media and technology is created and gets out to the schools. I am Johanna Harder, and I am the administrator of this unit here at the California Department of Education. I was a special education classroom teacher for 21 years prior to coming to the California Department of Education. And I was unfamiliar with the office and how these materials actually get to classrooms. So I hope you find some value and some worth in today's presentation as my colleagues will take you through the different services and the different programs that we offer. Next slide, please. Okay, today I'm going to do some introductions of the entire staff of our office here at the CSMT. The CSMT, they're going to go over what that is. They're going to also touch on what instructional material adoptions are. They will talk about the products and the services that are available. And they're going to give an overview of something we call iMods, which is the Instructional Materials Ordering and Distribution System. Next slide, please. Okay, this is our team that you will see up here on the slide. Susan Hardesty is the production manager. She's with us for about another month and she's going to be retiring. But she's been doing this job for several years and has really streamlined the processes here at the California Department of Education. Grant Leong is the iMods IT, and so he handles the technology issues that come up there and dealing with educators. James Morrison is the federal quota from the American Printing House. He manages that. Aaron Coppage does the braille ordering. Jackie Waite handles the large print ordering. And then we have a little sub person here is Carissa Richards, and she does the Clearinghouse for multilingual documents. So when you see parent-facing materials or student-facing materials that need to be translated, that is something that Carissa's office, or that Carissa manages for the California Department of Education. Next slide, please. Okay, I'm going to hand this over now to Aaron Coppage and Jackie Waite. They are going to be taking you through all the ins and outs of what the CSMT office does on a daily, annual basis, monthly basis. There's a cycle of things that happen. So with that, I'd like to introduce you both.
Thank you, Johanna. Good morning. I'm Erin Coppage, and I'm the Braille Analyst for the California Department of Education.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm Jacqueline Wade, and I'm the Large Print Analyst for the California Department of Education.
We're the content matter experts for the Clearinghouse for Specialized Media and Technology.
That's our program and what we do.
Slide. The California Department of Education, known as the CDE, provides accessible materials either through the distribution of Braille and large print or through electronic files that users may download. We have spent the past 10 years working on upgrading and improving our current online ordering system, and the presentation today will provide information regarding our website called Instructional Materials Ordering and Distribution System, or iMods. The Clearinghouse for Specialized Media and Technology, or CSMT, unit is your main point of contact for getting accessible versions of California state grades K through 8 adopted textbooks. The publishers provide us digital and physical copies of their state-adopted textbooks, and we in turn can provide these to the schools for use by any and all students from our lending library. Slide. Go. California Education Code Section 60313A says that the Superintendent of Public Instruction shall maintain a central clearinghouse, depository, and duplication center for the design, production, modification, and distribution of Braille, large print, special recordings, and other accessible versions of instructional materials for use by pupils with visual impairments or other disabilities who are enrolled in the public schools of California. Slide. Also, California Education Code Section 60313C reads that the instructional materials in specialized media shall be available in a manner determined by the State Board of Education to other pupils with disabilities enrolled in the public schools of California who are unable to progress in the general curriculum using conventional print copies of textbooks and other study materials. Slide. Because we are a lending library, we can provide at no additional cost to public schools physically printed adopted instructional materials for grades K through 8. We have both print and digital Braille and large print. We have many titles available in audio format as well. Slide. These electronic files types are available for immediate download. You can get a docx from the publisher, a PDF from the publisher, which is usually print ready, no formatting needs to be done, enlarged PDF from our large print contractor, an electronic Braille file, or an audio MP3 file. Slide.
So Braille and large print titles are ordered by the customer, which are the teachers, through iMods. They're created off-site at our vendors, and they're monitored by the CD staff. They're stored in a lending library warehouse in West Sacramento. Slide. All of the items mentioned can be found and ordered in our online ordering system. So what is iMods? iMods is our online ordering system and is referred to as iMods. To search and place an order, you must be a registered member with a current school or district email address. The applications are on our website. Slide. There is no cost for the instructional materials. Your education agencies keep them on hand as long as they are needed by students, simply sending them back to us when no longer in need. And they are sent to the next education agency that can use them. APH ordering and spending of your school's allocated federal funding. The products and files we offer to you are ordered through this online application or downloaded directly. Slide. So who can fill out the application for membership is listed on this slide. Typically teachers, administration, classified staff, paraprofessionals, others designated by the account lead. APH accounts require that one person be named the account administrator. Anyone who wants to sign up for iMods and be able to spend APH funding must have this person's signature. Slide. In general, most items need to be adopted by the State Board of Education. So let's visit that process. Slide.
Invitation to submit, publishers, and IMR and CRE adoption roles are appointed by the State Board of Education. And if you'll notice on the slide, the IMR stands for Instructional Materials Reviewer, and the CRE stands for Content Review Expert. The next step is IMRs and CREs are trained and publishers present their programs. Program samples are then delivered to IMRs and CREs, and the IMRs and CREs conduct independent reviews from their homes. IMRs and CREs meet to deliberate programs, and publishers respond to questions. And then finally, IMRs and CREs develop their report of findings. Slide. The Instructional Quality Commission, or the IQC, holds a public hearing and finalizes their recommendations based on the reviewer's findings. A 30-day public display is held at Learning Resources Display Centers, and then a public hearing is held before the State Board. Slide. At this point, the State Board of Education adopts the approved material. Our price list is then populated with items that were adopted through this process, and then iMods records are created for order. Publishers deliver files and books to CSMT, and then everyone in CSMT gets involved in confirming receipt and making records and pre-ordering transcription and large print. And then customers may now also order at this point, but content is still being converted to Braille and large print for at least the next year, sometimes longer. These will be delivered to the schools for the students once the product is received from our contractors. Plan for this taking some time once the adoption process is finalized. Slide. All right. You find this price list by going to the CDE website and typing in price list. Search by publisher, title, ISBN, and subject. Slide. We have 100% of publisher books and files from the 2017 history adoption and the 2018 science adoption. We've been ordering these in Braille and large print in addition to having the files available on iMods. And we hope to have the same participation with our 2025 math adoption. Anything prior to these two adoptions may not have had everything submitted and available, which is why it's a good idea to check the price list. Slide.
Now in the process of being converted to Braille and large print. If a title is needed from these adoptions and not yet available in Braille or large print, teachers can contact us to prioritize that title. These would include the California Arts 2021, World Languages 2021, and Health 2022. Slide. So let's look at some additional products and services that our department provides for your students. Slide. The purpose of Braille and Teach List Service, BNT, is to exchange ideas, share materials, provide resources, and support one another professionally. This is an important part of finding resources for the students of California. Slide. The Clearinghouse for Multilingual Documents, CMD, is a secure database to assist local educational agency, LEA, staff in locating parental notification documents translated into non-English languages. Although the CMD does not coordinate translations for LEAs, it does coordinate CDE program office parent-facing notifications and documents that LEAs frequently use. Slide. So the CMD database is not accessible to the public, so educators can find translated parental notifications like health notifications. However, to add information about translations and access, contact information of other registered users, school staff must register as users. Slide. CMD is intended for use by schools and districts. If parents want to obtain translations of a school notification, they should contact their child's school directly. Slide.
The American Printing House for the Blind, or APH's APH Federal Quota Program, allocates federal funds to public and private education programs that register students who are legally blind. Congress allocates these funds annually. Agency funding is based on the number of students registered within that agency with APH. An authorized person may use iMods to place orders for APH products and services using federal quota funds. Slide. These are some resources we use here at CSMT that are also available to your educators. Slide. The NIMAC, or National Instructional Materials Access Center, carries files in NIMAS format. CSMT is your authorized agent for NIMAS files. Slide. Anyone can search on NIMAC, and this is their homepage listed on the slide. Click on the Search the NIMAC box to look for a book. If you find a book on this system, contact your educational professional. The NIMAS file they'll download the NIMAS file format that they'll download is not generally usable by the parents or students, so we have staff that will convert the file into a doc or PDF format for your student. Slide.
So regarding high school material, we primarily have K-8 state-adopted textbooks. We do have some high school material in iMods. If the file is available on NIMAC, contact your educational professional. Slide. The California State Library houses the Braille and Talking Book Library, BTBL. You can easily register by phone or online, access talking books, Braille, and digital Braille files available to check out in person. You can have the books mailed to you or download instantly with BARD app. BTBL provides handheld accessibility devices, plus classes and one-on-one training, free of charge through their state-funded library program. Slide.
CalPIA's Assistive Technology Enterprise is located at Folsom State Prison. The facility was refurbished by inmates participating in CalPIA's Carpentry Pre-Apprenticeship Program. This program produces the bulk of the Braille transcription and embossing for us here at CSMT. And CalPIA produces Braille, e-text, and tactile graphics to provide access to print and electronic information to individuals with print-related disabilities. The National Federation of the Blind offers courses in literary, mathematics, and musical transcription, as well as literary and mathematics proofreading for Library of Congress certification. Incarcerated individuals in the California Assistive Technology Enterprise program work to achieve the Library of Congress certifications, starting with literary Braille transcribing. This certificate qualifies the recipient to transcribe general literary materials and is a prerequisite for other transcribing and proofreading courses. CalPIA also produces for the public post-production closed captioning, e-media, assistive technologies, PDF documents, proofing, and ADA tactile mapping signage. Slide.
So once your student is finished learning a Braille or large print book, we ask that you please return Braille and large print books to the CSMT Media Warehouse, which is located off 3740 Seaport Boulevard in West Sacramento. Slide.
Okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us directly. Links are in the chat, and all of our information is available online at our website. We'd be more than happy to hear from you and help you along. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Before we transition to our colleague that's joining us from the California School for the Blind, I want to set a context about the state special schools and where to find more information specific to their work. The California Department of Education State Special Schools and Services Division under Director Dr. Nancy Hebach Amon provides support and oversight to state special schools, diagnostic centers, and local education agency operated programs in California. These programs provide various supports related to deaf, hard of hearing, blind, and visually impaired students, including technical assistance, comprehensive assessments, and the Schools for the Deaf and School for the Blind provide comprehensive intensive educational programs, supports, and services. Their webpage on the California Department of Education website can be accessed at www.ca.gov/sp/ss, and we've dropped it into the chat as well. Several of their program web pages are full of fantastic resources available to families and educators. This leads me to our next presenter from the California School for the Blind. We can go to thank you. I would like to invite Allison Mello, Assistive Technology Specialist and Teacher of the Visually Impaired from the California School of the Blind, to join us now, as we have asked Allison to share about the many resources related to specialized media available to families and educators through their website, as well as share a little about the programs that relate to those tools. Thank you, Allison, for being here.
I'm Allison Mello. Thank you for inviting CSB to participate in this webinar. I am from the California School for the Blind's outreach program. So my supervisor is head of the Education Resource Center that is run through the California School for the Blind. We have a few programs that would extend to the entire state, besides our on-campus students who are either day or residential students. Our program on campus is considered the most restrictive placement when talking about IEP placement for students and children. However, we have many programs that all students around California can benefit from, regardless of them coming to our campus. Next slide. I'm going to take a minute to talk about our admissions process. So if your IEP team decides that your child would be better served on our campus, that looks like a process in which you submit a packet along with your IEP team. The parent and IEP team works together to put this packet together, because presumably they've made this decision together at an IEP meeting. And then that student gets approved for an ASP meeting, and that's assessment of suitability of placement. They have an intake meeting on our campus, and then they undergo a 60-day process in which all teams, so all related services and the classroom teacher, so this could look like the classroom teacher, orientation and mobility specialist, speech language pathologist, psychologist, assistive technology specialists, work together, and they perform a series of assessments on the student to see if their access to curriculum and education is primarily due to their vision, and if so, if they would be better suited on our campus. After that 60 days, families are told whether their child will be offered placement on our campus or if they are to return to their home campus. Next slide. Some programs that we run out of the outreach program start with our low vision clinic. So this is run out of outreach. And so this works in kind of twofold. So our low vision clinic is on campus and you can schedule appointments. A TVI is teacher of the visually impaired. So a teacher of the visually impaired, your student's teacher of the visually impaired is required to attend the meeting. And we work with Berkeley optometrists and ophthalmologists to give free of charge appointments to students with visual impairments, and we are able to give students some devices, including dome magnifiers or handheld magnification devices, and they can go home with these products immediately after the appointment. Parents are invited to join, but that TVI is required to accompany the student. Our low vision clinics also do go on the road. This has to be, I think it's approximately 2 to 3 hours drive away. So some places they've gone include San Diego and Los Angeles. They do not make the trip for one student. So they do make the trip if a teacher or a district has a group of maybe 4 or 5 students who would benefit from a low vision appointment. And again, the TVI is required, and we do ask that the district coordinates the space for us and that we are not locating a space for us. Next slide. Assessment Center. Our assessment center also works out of our outreach department. They conduct consultations, trainings with teachers, and they do assessments in the field and bring students to our campus to do assessments on our campus. So our consultations can be as simple as phone or email or Zoom with the team or with a member of the IEP team. Our assessments, however, do not replace triennial evaluations, and they cannot be used as independent IEEs, so they cannot be used in replace of that. Our assessments are not bound by IEPs. They are simply guides for teachers and teams who might be stumped with a student, unable to perform assessments that are producing results that are useful for placement, figuring out strategies for the student to access their curriculum or education. So the whole team is part of the assessment process, including the family. There will be home observations as well if there is a field assessment. If a family is brought to our center assessments, so on our campus in Fremont, California, they will be provided an apartment on our campus free of charge. They have to handle travel costs, but once they get to our campus, they have a place to stay for the extent of their assessment. Next slide. Okay, assistive technology. This is my team. So assistive technology works on campus and off campus. The assessment center and the low vision clinic primarily work off campus. So the assistive technology team conducts trainings across the state for TVIs, paraprofessionals, and other classified staff on pieces of technology that students will be using in district. This could look like braille note takers, screen readers, magnification software. It could be iOS devices. It's essentially whatever the team is struggling with understanding or using effectively with their students, we can come in. We also build curriculum. So if you go onto the Assistive Technologies website, we have computer science curriculum that we've created that takes into account visual impairments and the itinerant TVI schedule. So these lessons teach computer science concepts in a hands-on approach. We also attend conferences across the state and present. So there is the CSUN Technology Conference that typically happens in Orange County. And then we attend the CTEBVI conference. I'm really sorry, I don't remember what all those letters stand for, but it switches off. So this past year it was in the Bay. Next year it will be in Los Angeles. There is a parent track and a student track at that conference. So our team will go there and also present on technology and how to use it or effective ways of teaching it. And we also do assessments similar to the assessment center. While the assessment center does a comprehensive assessment, their team is made up of 2 TVI and O&Ms and a psychologist and SLP. Assistive technology only works on assessing for assistive technology needs. And again, that is not to be used in replacement of an assessment conducted by the district team, and the district team will be involved the entire time. We typically will do those assessments in field. We will not bring a student to campus to conduct our tech assessments. And then we also host events that are open to the public. For example, we have Day of Code, which is a computer science themed event that we hold annually for outreach and on-campus students to participate and come experience coding, robotics, and we have special guests from local companies here in the Bay Area that really make the day special. Next slide. So the what's available in assistive technology is new. It just got published to the web this past semester. We originally had a living Google document, but now it is just a web page, and it is not exhaustive. It is not every piece of technology in the blindness education field, but it is the ones that you will most commonly find in classrooms, or most available on campuses and as students transition from K-12 to secondary education. We do often add and take away items based on availability. As you probably know, technology changes almost weekly. So we do keep this updated. Prices are subject to change. This resource is meant for the TVI who's kind of coming to it with the lens of, I have this student and they need a video magnifier. Let me see what CSB has for their video magnifier recommendations. But parents can also use this as a way to kind of come to the table with ideas when they go to that IEP meeting. I have read this resource, I saw this device, it looks like it may help my student. I'm not sure though, let's talk about it. So that's this. Next slide. The screen reader training website is a website that we created for teachers, families, and students to learn screen readers. To use the screen reader training website, you do need to have a screen reader turned on, or else it's pretty meaningless. And we have created lesson curriculum for Chromebox, which is with Chromebooks, VoiceOver for iOS and Mac, NVDA, which is a screen reader, but it is free, and then JAWS, Job Access with Speech, which is the primary screen reader that most blind or low vision students will use, and it's the one that districts typically buy for students. Now, the screen reader training website is written with kids in mind, so the language is at their level. It also breaks down big concepts into very digestible lessons. It's also written with the intent that the TVI could stay ahead of them, having gone through lesson 2 themselves, now they can teach lesson 2 while they're preparing to teach lesson 3 next week. After the students have finished a course associated with a screen reader, then they have the freedom to go into the game portal, where there's lots of really fun games that not only reinforce screen reading skills, but they reinforce skills like social skills, grammar, proofreading, math, and filling out online forms. Next slide. The CSB maintains a YouTube channel where not only can you watch webinars or different kind of virtual trainings we've produced in the past, but you can also see some of our fun activities like our concerts or our Day of Code videos. If you're considering sending our student or your student to our campus, you can check out our YouTube and see how much fun our students have on our campus and how much being at CSB means to them, even if it's just simply an outreach event. Next slide. We have a short-terms program on our campus that runs 2 primary types of programs. So throughout the school year, we have short courses, and these tend to be week-long courses taught on our campus. Students will stay on our campus the entire time, and they range in theme. So it could be a cooking short course, it could be a leadership short course, and each course is associated with a typical age group. So sometimes we'll have like a 9 to 13-year-old or 11 to 14-year-old. So we try to keep the students with the same age group. They'll do a multitude of different activities that increase their blindness skills, so using adaptive tools and technology and learning independent living skills being here on our campus. They also work on orientation and mobility, and they're just a ton of fun. Students make friends with all types of students from across the state, so they're building their peer network in the blindness community, so they feel like, wow, I'm not the only one, because sometimes we do come across students, more often than not, we come across students who have never met another blind kid, and it's just such a really cool feeling for them to feel like they are not alone. And that is our during the school year. Again, all of this is free of charge. We work out transportation with districts and campus. They have food. They stay here for free. We also do occasionally have a virtual short course if you're still hesitant about sending students to campus, but campus ones, I'm just going to say, are a lot more fun. During the summer, we have summer academies. So these are 3 individual week-long kind of summer camps. And they take place in the month of June. This is the last week of summer academies currently. Each week is for a specific age group, and the activities can range from coding. There's one that's simply about going to different California state parks. There's Eat Around the World, where they cook every day and they go to the groceries every day to get their ingredients. There's swimming, there's canine or cane to canine, where kids learn about the possibility of getting a guide dog someday and what that kind of looks like. And then they go to Guide Dogs for the Blind in San Rafael. And those are a lot of fun. Again, free of charge. They will stay on our campus. And they are week long. We work out transportation. Even if a student is coming in flying, our staff flies down to fly with your student up to campus, and then they do the same thing back. They'll fly with your child back down to your home airport. Next slide. And then the California Association for Parents with Students or with Children with Visual Impairments. This is a support network for parents to come together and just have other people in their peer network and community to learn, what each other is experiencing in different districts, what went well, what went wrong, share resources. Because ultimately, parents are the best advocate and the lifelong partner with students, so they can learn from other parents through this organization. And that is all of the resources I have to share today.
Thank you so much for all that great information, very in depth, and I love hearing your personal stories as well about the extra touches. That's great. I wanted to jump in here to this slide here, considerations for deafblind students. So I'm going to move into some resources with this consideration, and I want to highlight that colleagues from the Disability Rights Education and Defense Fund, or DREDIF, which is one of the parent training and information centers in our state, Director Karma Quick-Panwala contributed to this webinar in highlighting the next several resources that may be of interest to parents, families, and educators. So the National Center on Deafness can be found at nationaldb.org. And again, the link is shared in the chat. It's a National Technical Assistance Center. NCDB works with state deafblind projects and other partners to improve educational results and quality of life for children who are deafblind and families. Just to highlight a couple of resources, we have a few pulled up here. So the Open Hands, Open Heart, the first one being Open Hands and Open Access Deafblind Intervenor Learning Modules. It's a national resource designed to increase awareness, knowledge, and skills related to intervention for students aged 3 through 21 who are deafblind and being served in educational settings designed to be used as part of a comprehensive intervenor training program by qualified agencies or institutions. The modules are for practitioners who want to improve their knowledge about deafblindness and gain practical information they can put to use right away in their classroom. So the professional development and the Open Hands, Open Access. But there are many resources in there for families as well. So please check those out. The literacy resources, that site is for individuals interested in beginning or enhancing literacy instruction for children with combined vision and hearing loss. Its content is designed to improve literacy instruction for children with multiple disabilities and other complex learning challenges. Also on this slide, California Deafblind Services at cadeafblind.org is federally funded. Again, the link is in the chat. Technical Assistance and Dissemination project that serves individuals birth through 21 who have combined hearing and vision issues with or without disabilities. We can go to the next slide. So there are many considerations for students who are deaf or hard of hearing in accessing instruction and instructional materials. So we encourage you to discuss with the IEP team, including the parent and student where appropriate, what are the best options for the student and their individual learning. A few ideas might include things like assistive listening devices, being mindful of background noise, using a microphone during class, real-time captioning that includes environmental noises, note takers, sharing upcoming vocabulary and context with teachers of the deaf and hard of hearing, preferential seating, and many others that could be listed. Just wanted to share out a few. Next slide. Did you know that there are specific bills related to supporting students that are deaf and hard of hearing? Just to highlight two of them here, Assembly Bill 1836 is known as the Deaf Children's Bill of Rights. This is historic legislation that acknowledges the essential need for children who are deaf and hard of hearing to be educated in an environment that respects and uses their preferential mode of communication. AB 1838 plays a key role in IEP team considerations for the student. Also noted are Senate Bill 210 Lead K-Law. California was the first state to pass a language equality and acquisition for deaf kids kindergarten readiness law. It requires that California Department of Education selects developmental milestones from existing standardized norms and develops a resource for use by parents of children who are deaf birth through 5 and can find language. You can find the language development milestones at the CDE website noted here on the page. There's a whole list of those milestones there. Next slide. I'd like to highlight the Family Empowerment Centers as a resource for parents who have children with disabilities age 3 to 22 in California. They provide resources and support, and they're funded through the Department of Education, the California Department of Education, that is, and supported by CDE and Seeds of Partnership. The parent centers are instrumental in sharing with families other resources related to specialized media access and more local and regional community supports. Many of them also offer workshops that include considerations related to specialized media or assistive technology. For the most up-to-date contact information, you can visit the Family Empowerment Center website through the link added here. It's www.californiafamilyempowermentcenters.org or in the chat. Next slide. In closing, we do have a feedback survey. We want to hear from you about your family school partnership stories. What's working well? What isn't? What sessions or topic areas can we lift up through these webinars? What would be helpful to you? We have a QR code here. We have a link here and dropped into the chat. We encourage you to share with us. Next slide. We do invite you to register for an upcoming webinar. And as a reminder, these are the fourth Thursday of the month from 11 to 12, and they are recorded. On behalf of the California Department of Education, Dr. Rachel Heenan, Seeds of Partnership, and the Sacramento County Office of Education, I want to acknowledge and thank the CSMT team, Allison Mello School for the Blind, as well as Karma Quick Panwala from Dredif for presenting and or contributing to this session today. Again, thank you all for joining us and being a part of learning together and strengthening partnerships in California.